good morning, everyone. In the next two classes, we are going to go ahead and take three important relations that we are going to develop. The first one is going to be the relation between price and output. This will be called as the AS curve. The second one is going to be the relation between price, also called inflation, and unemployment. This is called the Phillips curve. The third one will be relation between unemployment and output, and this will be known as the Okun's law. So we are going to go ahead and try and build these three relationships: price or inflation, output, and unemployment, relation between two of these variables at any point of time. This may come in, most times you will see the equation of AS curve or Phillips curve coming in the exam. Sometimes, like last year, it was very surprising that we saw Okun's law in the exam. So we must once also go through the Okun's law in detail. Now, how we've already seen the AS curve now. Last class also we saw the AS curve. We saw the modeling of the AS curve. We in fact derived the AS curve. We derived the value of alpha in the AS curve. So how is this class AS curve going to be different from the last classes that we have done? While today's case, we are going to go ahead and for these relationships, we are going to go ahead and use something which is actually developed, at least in the Dornbusch book. I haven't seen this in much detail in other books as much as the Dornbusch and Blanchard have tried to focus on it, and they have also used different versions of this model. But this is known as the wage setting and price setting model. This model is going to go ahead and dictate the getting of these three relationships, the interpretation of these three relationships. So to begin with, let us write down the first equation, and this would be called as the wage setting equation. Who will set the wages? We know that the wages that would be set in the economy will depend on the demand and supply side. That is how the labor market works. But for this wage setting relationship, we will say the wage is a function of the expected wages, expected prices in the economy. If I expect the price to increase in the economy, I will demand more wage. And if I expect the price to decrease in the economy, I will demand less wage. So what the inflation in the economy is for the next year, I will go ahead and demand my wages based on that. Why not demand wages based on the prices? Why expected prices? Because you are going to go ahead and sign some contracts. Wage ke liye contract sign hoga. The contract would be signed 1 year in ahead, right? So if I have to work with you for the next 1 year, then I will be signing the contract today, on what my wage is going to be, what my salary is going to be. And how much I'm going to demand is going to go ahead and depend on what I expect the prices to be in the future. So it's a function of the expected price. It's a function of two things that I'm going to write here: unemployment and the exogenous variable Z. This is how the book defines it, U and Z. So what is U? U is simply the unemployment rate. But what is Z? Z is basically all the exogenous factors that positively affect the wage rate. So we will just think about this. See, when I talk about U, I know that if there is more unemployment in the economy, then there are more people in the labor force who are looking for job, which means that there is more competition among people. If there is more competition among people, they will be willing to work even at a lower wage. So the wage will be negatively affected. Negative effect on W. So between W and U, there is a negative relationship. As unemployment increases, more people are unemployed, they are willing to work even at a lower wage, so the wage decreases. That's the first relationship. Now, the second relationship is the exogenous factors. That's Z. So please write down. These exogenous factors, you can consider these exogenous factors as, let's say, the unemployment allowance. So if people are given unemployment allowance, for example, the government declares that if your wage is less than 1,000, then less than equal to 1,000, then the government will give you some benefit. The government will go ahead and give you 1,500 from its side. Or if you are unemployed, then the government will give you 2,000 per month. And your wage was, let's say, 1,000 per month, suppose. Then will you be willing to work at 1,000 when the government is giving you 2,000 for not working? No. So when the government gives you these unemployment allowances, these unemployment benefits, then as these benefits increase, they will push the wage upwards because people will not be willing to work at a lower wage. So when Z increases, people would be unwilling to work at lower wage. So it will push the wage upwards. So increase in Z will increase W. So there is a positive relationship. And P is anyways coming outside the function. So it's a positive relationship. As expected price increases, as you expect the price to increase in the future, you will demand more wages. So it will increase the wages. This relationship, this is known as the wage setting equation. Later on, I will give you an example where you may be given some form of this function. So what if this function has a linear form? Then how you will solve it, I will go ahead and show you that also. Now, let's go to the second kind of relation, which is called as the price setting equation. So the price setting equation can be written as P is equal to 1 plus mu into W. This mu here, this is the markup price, as you know from microeconomics. Markup is like a profit to the firms. It's like a profit to the producers. Now just look at this equation. This says, suppose I tell you that, suppose let's open this up. What will I get? I will get P is equal to W plus mu W. Okay. Now just remember that when it was perfectly competitive market,